Grace and peace. I am Pastor Renee Teague, the pastor of Enon United Methodist Church in Studley, Virginia. Were you raised thinking of the words of the Lord? Did you memorize Bible verses as a child, or maybe some have just grown in as you grew up? Knowing the words of the Lord allows us to turn to them as a matter of course. So you memorize the Bible verses and then they come to you as you go through life. So my daughter and I were just doing this text message thing. You know, the beauty of text messages. And she sends out this video of the world's worst song ever. And it is a song about salad. It is really the world's worst song ever. And so we bantered back and forth a few times about these songs about food that are the worst songs ever. Someone left the cake out in the rain, for example. And then in my family, there's a running joke about Meatloaf's song, "Life is a Lemon and I Want My Money Back." And so I sent that one. And anyway, we did this bantering thing. The lyrics of those songs are things that we just know. We didn't have to go look them up. We didn't have to Google them. We know who wrote them. We know who sang them. We know all of those words. What Bible verses do you know? So I'm a Berry College grad, and some of the people that watch these videos are, and every Berry College grad knows one Bible verse if we know nothing else. And it is to lift your eyes up unto the hills. It's where your help comes from. Now, those aren't exactly the words that are printed everywhere, but at Berry College, there are spires on most of the older buildings. And Martha Berry, who founded the college, said that those spires would cause you to lift your eyes up unto the hills, and that is where your help would come from. Now, that's a quote of a psalm. I think it's an interesting idea right now. You know, we tend to get curled up and downcast, and this idea of lifting your eyes up unto the hills. And we know that when we change posture, we also change chemistry. So that indeed is going to change your mind as you engage with God, and also biologically as you change your posture. The harvest is plentiful, but the workers are few. So ask the Lord of the harvest to send out workers into his field. That was my Wednesday afternoon Bible verse that I learned before I did a Wednesday afternoon program in Gray, Georgia. And I was always worried about having enough people there for the number of children. And I would pray that verse, and I want you to know I was never short of people in years of Wednesday afternoon. It worked out every time. So ask the Lord of the harvest. Maybe that's something we need to be asking now. This Bible verse tells us that the harvest is plentiful. The harvest is still plentiful. We just need to figure out what the field is and what kind of workers we need, don't we? More precious than sparrows, a Lord that has counted the hairs of your head. Those people that you're troubled about are more precious to the Lord our God than sparrows, and the hairs of their head have been counted. These verses, if we know them, they grow into us and they provide us hope and rest and peace and direction. I want to encourage you to pick out a verse or two, whichever verse happens to speak to you. Maybe one of these. If you don't have one and you want some help finding one, you can use a concordance, some of the tools in a Bible, or you can put a message under this video or on my Facebook page or email or text or whatever, and I'll help you find a verse for you to start learning that might help direct you. You know, there's some verses about grace, that there's always enough grace for the day. Now, there isn't grace today for tomorrow, but there is grace enough for today. And it's not a stingy grace, just barely enough, like you're spray coating a pan instead of lusciously coating it in olive oil. There's grace like a luscious coating of olive oil. It's a wonderful, deep, abiding grace that we stand in, like Kathy Mattea's song, Knee Deep in a River. And we have this grace whether we think we can sense it or not. So if we memorize the words, maybe even of this old hymn, but if we memorize the words of the Bible, they speak to our souls, and we have something to breathe in and out. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now am found, was blind, but now I see. There's grace. Amen.